Project L was announced in October of 2019. A world that hasn't even heard of COVID yet. A world filled with hopes and dreams. Initially, I was a little excited for the title, but I've gotta admit, I'm not a fighting game fan. I grew up playing a little bit of Marvel vs. Capcom, a little bit of Mortal Kombat, but was always terrible at them. Combos, frame cancelling, Shoryuken inputs, whatever the heck this is, all these kept me away from being able to enjoy these games. What I did play a lot growing up was a little game by the name of Smash Melee. Now a quick aside for clarification. If you ask anyone from the fighting game community, they'd argue tooth and nail that Smash is not a fighting game, but I'm not here to get into that. Smash is what's labeled as a platform fighter, as compared to games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, etc., which are labeled as traditional fighters. The simple controls, the fun roster of characters, and the fact I can destroy stupid, cocky Daniel every single time this game gets pulled up at a party felt amazing. Over the years, I've casually played Smash with friends whenever there was a Nintendo console available during a hangout. It doesn't matter if that friend is completely new and spamming Kirby down B, or is an expert wave dashing around the map like Saitama. The idea of a group hanging out and beating each other up was always fun. This mentality then transferred over to Riot Games' League of Legends when that blew up. Being able to just message friends and set up some squad nights or playing some big 10-player in-house games will forever be some of my fondest gaming moments. So when Riot announced a fighting game and information was scarce, I was holding out hope that Riot would see the light and make a Smash game. Over the 2-ish years of waiting, I thought about a Riot Smash game more and more, and it just started to make more and more sense to me. Eventually, I can't think of a better decision for Riot than to make this. So now, I'm gonna infect you with the same thought and explain why a Riot platform fighter would have been the greatest idea ever. So let's start with Riot as a company. I'm skipping the indie games, the mobile ports, and the diet League of Legends, mostly because they aren't aimed at core gamers. The 4 games are League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, Legends of Runeterra, and Valorant. Now we don't have any tangible numbers to go off of, but going by Twitch numbers and game culture as a whole, the most successful 2 are definitely League of Legends and Valorant by a country mile. Then TFT comes into the picture, and finally Legends of Runeterra trails off at the very end. The first thing to note is that Riot excels at taking game genres with 1 to 2 major titles, polishing it up, and then releasing a casual-friendly and consumer-friendly version of it. That's not to say Riot does not improve or innovate on a genre, it just means that they're at their best when the market exists but is far from saturation. League came out during the MOBA boom, when its major competition were Dota, a Warcraft 3 mod, and Heroes of Newerth, a buy-to-play MOBA. League approached their design with a casual-friendly mindset, an appealing art style, and a cheap price tag of free. The rest is history, with League topping the charts around the world and making Riot the company it is today. Teamfight Tactics was created in a similar way. A Dota 2 mod by the name of Auto Chess was picking up steam, so Riot yoinked the concept, cleaned it up, and made Teamfight Tactics. It has then gone on to define itself at the pinnacle of the auto chess genre. Next, Valorant repeated this success, but with the Counter-Strike tactical shooter genre. Counter-Strike was popular, but hasn't had a proper iteration since the Avengers first assembled. Riot modernized the game genre, added abilities, and made it more appealing to a wide audience, and it went nuclear. The only game of the 4 that broke this formula and launched into a more saturated market was Legends of Runeterra, and that hurt the game real bad. Despite having arguably one of the best card game systems, amazing card art, and definitely the best card game business model, Runeterra had a lukewarm result at best for a Riot game. The Riot brand power is strong, but not strong enough to compete with juggernauts of the industry like Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Magic the Gathering. Riot has the magical ability to look at a genre and make the best possible game within it. That's amazing if the genre doesn't have enough competition, because they would literally become the face of it. Riot's games also hit a perfect medium between casual and competitive. Their games aren't too difficult to jump into and splash around, but the pool gets insanely deep once you go below the surface. New players joining a game are introduced to an easy to pick up experience. Then watching pros will show them how high the skill ceiling goes. It's an incredible motivator. Riot also excels at esports. League Worlds is a phenomenal experience and one of the biggest esports events in the world. TFT and Valorant tournaments also get a large share of views as well. Almost every major esports team has a stake in one of Riot's games due to their incredible scene and wide genre of games. No other company can lay claim to that. Not anymore anyways. Lastly, did you know that Riot Games' success thus far trends on players per game? League of Legends and Valorant has up to 5 players on the same team and 10 players in a game. These 2 titles are the most popular by far. Next we have TFT, and TFT has none on the same team, but up to 8 players in the same game. Finally, we have Runeterra, which only maxes out at 2 players in a 1v1 game mode. This is actually a huge factor, in my opinion, on why certain Riot games blow up and others don't. League of Legends grew from the word of mouth of many, many enthusiastic gamers. I should know because I was one of them. We'd hit up our group chats with a league, and they respond with down. Finding a game that everyone enjoys together has always been difficult, but it's an innate desire for all gamers. We want to socialize without the horrifying idea of, getting dressed and going out. This style of hitting up friends then went on to make Valorant an insanely popular game as well. TFT, while not having any cooperative elements, is still fun to play with friends since you can have 8 people jumping in together and fighting in a semi-random way. That's the key part. Semi-random. With it being an untargeted brawl, everyone is able to come in and have a good time. I've had 8-player in-house TFT lobbies where we could just chat in a group call while we beat each other up, regardless of skill level. Finally, we have Runeterra, where it's a purely one-on-one game. If I get asked to play with a friend, we would have to have similar skill levels or it'd end up being a one-sided stomp. It limits the biggest way a game can grow in this online world, word of mouth. Now some of you are probably already screaming in the comments about the 2-player game mode they introduced in TFT and Runeterra. And yes, I do think it's a step in the right direction, which is why I also thought that Riot would have thought ahead to make sure their upcoming games embodied this idea at its core. Anyways, now that we got a firm idea of Riot's MO, let's talk about traditional fighters. Traditional fighters hasn't seen much genre-changing iterations since its original boom in 1991 was Street Fighter 2. The core concept of 2 players on either side of the screen, inputting buttons and combos to remove the health bar of the other player, can still be found in almost all modern titles. Now don't get me wrong, the market for it is still huge and games like Mortal Kombat still tops the yearly sales charts. However, there are 3 major reasons why I don't think traditional fighters are the best way forward for Riot. Firstly, traditional fighters are hard to get into. Frame-perfect cancels, complex combos, lightning-fast input, and instantaneous mental processing are all needed as a baseline for competitive play for a majority of these titles. It's like saying, hey, do you want to play this game? Well, first, learn to play this piano. Oh, but your sheet music is constantly changing based on what this other pianist plays. Oh, and also you have to do mental math at the same time. And you're in your underwear. That last part isn't a requirement, but let's be honest, it's probably the most accurate part of the metaphor. I have no doubt that Riot would dumb this part down for casuals to get into Project L. After all, Radiant Entertainment, the developers that Riot acquired, was making Rising Thunder at the time. A fighting game with simplified controls meant to be new player friendly. Despite that, at the back of my mind, I can't help but feel this growing disdain in getting into a fighting game such as this. Much more so than a platform fighter like Smash. Why is that? Well, that brings us to reason number 2. 1v1 games have an innate pressure going into them. One-on-one used to be the norm when it comes to competitive games dominating the market. We can trace it all the way back to one of the first competitive games that swept the world. Chess. Then, as early video games developed, people wanted to get their multiplayer fix, and 2 huge genres came to be. Early console gamers at the time went to arcades to battle each other in fighting games, while PC gamers went online. Arguably one of the first big esports scenes, StarCraft took the internet by storm. The skill ceiling was unmatched and competition was fierce. However, while the fighting game scene is still alive and well, the real-time strategy genre is all but dead. Why is that? Well, the rise of shooters and MOBAs can pretty much answer to that. People enjoy the idea of playing with friends, and when they play competitively, being in a team actually alleviates a lot of the pressure. When you lose in a 1v1, you feel all the damage. It's all your fault. But when you lose in a team of 5, it's the jungler's fault. Unless you're the jungler, then it's mid's or top's fault. The key is that it's never your fault. That one mental gymnastic move allows your brain to curb off losses and farm dopamine from wins. However, these 2 genres never translated well over to console. Mobile controls doesn't work at all, and any shooter would be more competitive with a mouse and keyboard. That leaves fighting games to still be a very dominant part of the console market. The other reason fighting games survived is both a huge saving grace for the community and the biggest reason Riot shouldn't be making a traditional fighter. There are too many fighting games. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, Tekken, King of Fighter, Blaze Blue, Soul Calibur, Guilty Gear, Injustice, Virtua Fighter, Skullgirls, Dungeon Fighter Online, Killer Instinct, Samurai Showdown, every single anime fighter like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Jump Force, Naruto, My Hero Academia, One Piece, Demon Slayer, not an anime but Power Rangers, Persona, Grand Blue Fantasy, hell even My Little Pony got one, and these are just some entries with games in the last decade. There is no such thing as a timeless fighting game because the community moves on to the next game whenever it comes out. Traditional fighting game fans are used to practicing for the next iteration, the next big game, and the changes that come with it. Even if Riot launches the ultimate greatest traditional fighter of all time, you bet your ass the community would still grab the next Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat when that comes out and crunch into it. Jumping into a market with such saturation and volatility with a free-to-play system meant for permanence seems counterproductive at best. They should instead be jumping into an ecosystem with 1 or 2 dominant but flawed games and capitalize on it like they used to. And that brings us to Smash. Yahoo! Smash is what you should be doing to the like and subscribe button down below. It's quick, it's easy, and you get more quality content like this down the line. Okay, so Smash. Smash is a superbly fun game for all ages that can be picked up by virtually anyone of any skill. Almost everyone has played a game of Smash at some point in their life if they grew up around gamers. It's incredibly hard to avoid because it's insanely fun with a group of friends. Smash is also the story of how a competitive scene can be born purely from a passionate fanbase. The Smash Melee scene is still alive and kicking today, a full 20 years after it launched. Hell, earlier this year we had one of the biggest Melee tournaments of all time, hosted by Ludwig. Melee might be the most competitive video game that stood the test of time. Over its franchise history, Smash has launched 5 iterations, with the latest being labeled Ultimate. They brought back every single character from the past as well as bringing in lots of new faces. With the latest DLC character, Sora, which by the way I'm still incredibly jazzed over, Nintendo has announced that the development for Smash Ultimate is over. Nintendo has created a masterpiece of a franchise that sells incredibly well. Smash Ultimate is the #1 selling fighting game by a country mile at 25 million. Number 2 is Street Fighter 2, a game that came out 30 years ago at 15.5 million. If you combine game number 2 and game number 3 together, you'll get 28.8 million and you'll barely beat Smash Ultimate. Except number 3 is also a Smash game. Oh, and the game isn't even multi-platform. So yeah, Smash is big. So you might be wondering, why should Riot jump into this ecosystem with such a big shark looming in the water? Well, because Smash sucks. To start off with, before you can even get Smash, you'll need a Nintendo console. Mom bought off 7 scalpers and got you a PS5 for Christmas? Sorry Timmy, no dice. After that, you'll still need the game, which is probably still close to its launch retail price because Nintendo thinks sales give cooties. Oh, and don't forget to add all the DLC characters to the cart. Miyamoto can't afford his Nintendo Land US expansion without it. And then of course, you'll need at least a Pro controller, or better yet, the GameCube controller adapter and a few GameCube controllers for all your friends to play. Oh, COVID got your friends all locked up? Well, lucky for you, Nintendo offers online at $4 a month. Oh, and all your friends need to buy their own console, and Smash, and controller, and online as well. But hey, once you get online, you'll find that their online system is terrible.
The online is the main problem. This is the biggest problem. The biggest problem. It makes competing awful because I can't stream and play at the same time.
Nintendo hasn't been focused on online play and it's pretty obvious. Hell, the Switch still uses friend codes to add friends. And to use voice chat, you need to download an app on your phone. Once you finally get into the game, you'll find that there's no rollback netcode, there's input lag, and the general ecosystem around online play sucks. Finally, Nintendo have, at best, been ignoring the competitive Smash scene for years and have, at worst, been trying to shut them down. For a game that literally has some of the highest attendance and entrance in competitive fighting game history, Nintendo has been fighting them every step of the way. From basic hurdles like poor patch notes and not funding any competitive events, to major things like shutting down tournaments, charging exorbitant amount of licensing fees, and Brawl. Just Brawl. Yeah, the whole thing. Nintendo makes great games. Great games! But they're also stuck 1 or 2 generations behind when it comes to technology and mindset. Fans of these games dedicate so much love and effort to them and deserve a company that's adaptive, modern, and most of all, cares. So by now, you have a pretty solid idea of why I think Riot should be making a Smash game. So let's just get to it and explain what a Riot Smash game would look like. First, we know that Smash is pretty much the only major competition. Let's be honest, Nickelodeon All-Stars wasn't it. And I personally doubt the upcoming Warner Brothers game would be much better. Even if it turns out fine, Riot Smash would easily blow it out the water with their IP and designers. Warner Brother will always be limited to just Warner Brother characters. The other competitors are indie games such as Rivals of Aether, Slap City, or Brawlhalla, but none of them have the IP power necessary to pull Smash or Riot numbers, in my opinion. At the ground level, we also know the netcode will be solid. This is a game company that before they even talked much about their game, released an article talking about the tech and how they're gonna make netcode smooth. If there's one company I trust to get it right, it's Riot. Their regular code on the other hand, the game would be free to play, and Riot excels at that model. Their skins are amazing, and every one of their games have almost no elements of pay to win. You may have to purchase characters one by one using earned currency from playing, but it's gonna be a collection you're proud of, and if you one-trick a character, you'll still stomp someone who bought all the characters. Riot would also be able to provide in-game and community events to generate hype, perhaps even special PvE modes like Brawl's Subspace Embassy. This game would also be the first good, free-to-play, AAA, cross-console platform fighter. Riot's been lacking a good multi-platform game in their ecosystem, and what's better than being the first of its genre? This would be completely fresh to PlayStation gamers, Xbox gamers, and PC gamers, and could achieve Fortnite level success of distracting annoying nephews at Thanksgiving. Speaking of which, I would also trust Riot to be able to launch an app version of the game that can crossplay as well. That way you don't even need an insane amount of controllers to play 8-way Smash at a party. The platform fighter game system is already easy to pick up and join in, so Riot could truly make the greatest party game of all time. Your mom can join in a game and Kog'Maw down BU in no time flat. The League universe and IP are also amazing and can be explored so much more in a platform fighter. There are tons of regions and areas to draw inspiration from. The world is full of danger, so stages can be filled with lots of different hazards. There's also plenty of items throughout League's history to be used, from portals you can pick up and throw, to a Wriggles lantern you can set enemies on fire, to a needlessly large rod that's actually needlessly large. You can even bring in characters and items from other Riot projects. Throw Jet and Phoenix from Valorant in there, maybe Silco from Arcane, hell, toss some Legends of Runeterra cards in there that gives random effects like Pokeballs. Riot could even partner with other companies to bring their IPs in. The possibilities are actually limitless. The Riot ecosystem has also been built up over the years so that it's easy to just send an invite over to a friend to join you to play. Picture this. You log on, a friend hits you up, and the two of you do some 1v1s or maybe queue up duos. Then another friend joins in, so you do some 1v1v1. Then a couple other friends join and you eventually do some 8-player big battles or some tournaments or something. These are the kind of games that hit the current market best. Games that are easy to pick up and easy to play with any number of friends. An online Smash game is the perfect version of this because you can literally play with any number. Lastly, and most importantly, Riot will be providing the Smash community with a proper competitive scene. Funding, paying esports players, official tournaments, frame data, patch notes, dev communication, leaderboards, divisions, detailed statistics, and more. Things that would make a competitive Smash player drool. Riot also has roots in worldwide regions such as China and Korea, and this is a great way to introduce this competitive scene to them, since console games aren't as popular over there. Riot should be making a platform fighter. While I don't doubt Project L is gonna be a fun game and that it'll achieve success, I can't help but feel that there's a lost opportunity here for Riot's biggest success ever. The saddest part is, I don't think any company out there can do this but Riot. No one with the understanding of their community. No one with their IP power. No one with their designers. No one with their network tech. And no one with their competitive mindset. No one but Riot. Thanks for watching, everyone. I worked very hard on this video and I hope it shows. If you guys liked it, share it with a friend, someone who enjoys Smash, Riot, fighting games, anything like that. And if you guys have any thoughts or comments or opinions about anything I said, whether you agree or disagree, I would love to hear it. And if you guys have any other games that, you guys want me to do a deep dive into, any genres you guys want me to do a deep dive into, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And lastly, if it's your first time here, hi, my name's IRPie. I make good content. I think. I hope. Work on it. But subscribe anyways. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao.